Okay, in this video, I'll tell you why I'm sending my daughter to the cheapest school possible. I can afford to send my daughter to an expensive school, a good school with great facilities like maybe horse riding, for example, horse riding, swimming, trekking. They have this expensive British American thing where they teach you to play and construct and all that stuff, and they have highly certified teachers, and this all are children from the West. Okay, I can afford to send my child for that. Now you'll say, you're stingy, you're a typical Indian. Okay, let's keep that point also, but listen to what I have to say and then you decide. And how this topic came in my head was when one guy, he actually sent me an email, and the title was something about Mallu schools. Malayali means South Indian schools, Keralite schools, and he at first I thought he was trying to talk smack, but then he said, just like you, I also studied in a Malayali school or Malbari school, whatever. They are low class and the teachers are not qualified and the education system is worthless. And he went on and he said, make a video, but indoor, not outdoor, because it distracts. So make it indoor with a clean background so I can focus. I'm going to listen to everything you say. But yeah, anyway, that prompted me to think about this topic. And also because some of them are like, man, stop being a cheapskate and put your daughter for worthwhile education, worthwhile school. So I thought I would answer, why am I putting my daughter in the cheapest school possible? Okay. First, the most important thing is, does quality of education influence and shape a child's life? Yes. If you put them in a cheap school, the education quality will not be so great. But if you put them for a premium school, maybe they'll shape up to be someone who will go to Oxford or Harvard or an Ivy League. Okay? So that much, let's get it out of the way. There is quality that offers. But the counter argument to this is, that does not mean everyone who goes to a small, cheap school ends up being small and cheap. That does not mean someone who goes to a VIP school or a premium school ends up being a genius or successful person. In fact, you might end up having a child who studies in the best school possible in the world and end up being a total asshole. You don't need to go very far. Check today's generation, I don't know, Z or A or whatever generation it is. See the social justice warriors, see the nonsense, see the, idiotic characters that come up. And if education guaranteed success, then we wouldn't have people, means not who dropped out of college, people who don't have any form of education, means a certificate or from an ordinary college. They would never succeed in business or, make something out of their life. But that doesn't mean, I'm not trying to say you should not study, you should not learn. Education is not important. Remember, education is not just memorizing and having a memory test to write in the exam. That is not intelligence. It is one form of intelligence, but it is not all kinds of intelligence. It's like, you must have seen that cartoonish drawing. There's a tree where one monkey or one animal is writing down the report, and there you have an elephant, a fish, a snake, a cheetah, and another monkey. Okay, in swimming, lion, you got 0. Giraffe, you got 0. Fish, you're 100 out of 100. Then in the second test running, fish, you got 0. So they evaluate you in one dimension. Okay. But now, that doesn't excuse the fact, why am I putting my daughter for the cheapest school? See, here in Thailand, thankfully, the government, thanks to the late king, he made sure that there were a lot of perks and benefits and subsidized, schools and colleges, whatever, were heavily subsidized. So they offer standard, like if my daughter were to go to school here versus the same government school in Bangkok versus the same government school in some other remote place, the syllabus would be more or less the same. And they don't just focus on mugging up, memorization. Like my daughter, who is now 4 or 5, she is, when they go to school in the morning, they have the normal march past and, respect of the national anthem. And then they have activities to do every single day. They either have something, maybe because she's in the kindergarten, so drawing, coloring, shape building, exercise outside playing. And then after that, in the afternoon, after eating, they are supposed to sleep over there for 1 hour, whatever. Then they wake up, again they do something. And by the time it is somewhere in the afternoon, parents can pick up their children, or you can pay the teachers extra for the children to be babysit by the same teachers, and once again to play and under their supervision, play outside their house and all that. They make some money, and plus the children are busy doing something or another. But this is not the only reason I'm sending my daughter there. The main reason is all the children who come there are from the local Thai community. They are not rich people, they are middle class and they are lower. My wife's background, she comes from the lower class, like they're not very rich, simple villages. The children who come here also are simple. There is no foreigner or Western kid and all that. All Thai. And today my daughter speaks very fluent Thai. It gives me a headache. In fact, it gives my wife also a headache. That much Thai she speaks. And she has ADHD like me, but given the fact that she's a small kid, it's too hyper. She'll speak 10,000 words almost a minute. I don't know what she says. I have to literally switch off my ears. So she's very expressive, and so she gets along with all the Thai children. And remember, I'm not a guy who associates and mixes with Western people. My wife, I don't go out. I'm a guy who stays at home. My wife also doesn't mix and associate with other people. If she does, it'll only be Thai families. So can you imagine a situation whereby my daughter goes and makes friends with all Western folks who are here, whites? Nothing against them. I'm just telling you, they are mostly white folks. And then she comes back home and none of her friends are there to play around. And they have a Western lifestyle. They go for brunch. Every once a week they go swimming, or they will meet in some posh location, and the wives will sit together and the husbands will drink in a pub and all that. And then the children will play in the, the play area, which is also overpriced. I don't do that. My wife doesn't do that. So can you imagine my kid having to do that? So it is not practical at all. And we don't stay in those areas. Most of the white community or the Western community, they stay together, okay, in a very posh area. They have expensive cars. They stay in overpriced villas. Almost all of them have swimming pool and all that. We don't have any of it. Now imagine if my daughter sees all this. Oh, the car, oh, the lifestyle. And the children as young as, I think 10 or 12, they have Sony headphones or Apple headphones. They have an Apple smartphone or something expensive, and they have the latest overpriced, etc., etc. And they eat only where all the Western community eats. Don't you think my daughter will be like, oh, I want all this? Imagine it. I saw a bunch of small girls that day near the mall. I went to buy some things, some fruits which are not available in the local market. I saw these, I think a group of small girls, must have been 10, slightly tall, and all of them were wearing skimpy outfits. Very, very skimpy. All of them had phones, and parents must have left them. And they're like, oh, this guy's so hot, oh, check him out, and this and that. And they were busy trying to, communicate. I could overhear because when I was shopping, and they give them their location where they were. So I asked myself, do I want my daughter to, have friends like these? Imagine the parents have just left them. And what they're doing. So remember, it is not only just studies, it is the surroundings, it is the environment. Today my daughter can sleep without an AC. She sleeps just with a fan. She can eat rice, simple rice and curry. She can, my wife eats Thai food, which is like, sometimes they'll even get ants from the forest, ant eggs, or she'll pluck the leaves from the forest. They eat all this. My daughter is comfortable to live that life, a life of simplicity. The clothes that my wife wears, second-hand, my daughter doesn't seem to care. In fact, I had to tell my wife to stop cutting my daughter's hair because she keeps, I don't know what the hell she does. I said, please, I'll spend some money, get a proper haircut, stop cutting. She makes a disaster out of her hair. So my wife is a simpleton, man. So it makes sense that she mixes with people who shares her value systems, her lifestyle. And remember this, now my daughter has been like 6 or 7 months in the village. They play in the sand, they eat simple food, they have a very simple life. Why should I put a Western template and make my daughter habituated for a Western lifestyle? And remember, once you push them in that direction, it's very hard to take them back out of it. So, see, education in itself, the schooling, coming to the email, is just one side of it. It is not everything. There are teachers who will put you down. Teachers say, hey, like, my daughter went to the village. The teacher is, I think, apparently 50 or 60 years old. She's old. So she cannot handle my daughter who's hyper. So she tells, your daughter is so irritating. I had to shout at her. She is this, she is that. She's not obedient. So she keeps complaining about my daughter. But thankfully, because my wife is a housewife and she's so closely with my daughter, she's able to erase the slate of all the criticisms, of all the judgments, of all the theories the teacher has put. Maybe the teacher can say, you'll never become anything worthwhile in life. You're a dumb idiot. Or maybe the teacher, which doesn't happen here, but in my days, the teacher used to physically hit us with a ruler on the knuckles. They used to take pencils and put it in between our fingers and squeeze it to give us pain and whack us with a cane and all that. Here they don't do and today you can't do it because you'll be arrested for child abuse. My days, it was all being done and I was the naughtiest, so I was to get everything. So, given the fact that my wife is hands-on, a mother and a housewife, she takes great deal of interest and my daughter opens up to her like her best friend. And I'll tell you, my daughter is really, it surprises me what all my daughter says. Like, for example, I have these questions that I ask. Okay, who do you love more, mommy or daddy? And believe me when I say this, neither me nor my wife have taught her anything. Means what to say. She herself is, I don't know if other children say that. I'm not saying that my daughter is the most special. My daughter has said, no, I love mommy and papa both. No matter how much I coax her or to give me an answer or we blackmail her, like, in a friendly way. Okay, I'll give you chocolate. I'll give you 10 chocolates if you say me or, what does she say? No, in Thai she says, my wife translates, no, I love mama and papa both because if I only love papa, mama will be sad. If I only love mama, papa will be sad. I mean, I have to congratulate my wife that because of her, these values have come. Like, we tried asking other children, they'll always say mom or dad. I don't know how she came up with this. Like, whenever she gets something, she's always sharing with others. Okay, because I give her in abundance, she doesn't realize this scarcity. But if she gets a chips or crisps or chocolate or juice, she will share a little bit with other people. In fact, sometimes they playfully say, give me, and they take the whole thing. And my daughter will not ask him that. She's just sad. She'll not grab it. Sometimes I have to literally tell her, listen, your father didn't buy for the whole world. You bloody keep it for yourself. I told one incident where a boy pushed her in that school and stole her money, and she was crying. So my daughter is a really sweet little thing. I have to tell her how to be rough and tough. There I'm a little concerned. So remember, it is not the skills that they'll teach you in schools. In school, they don't teach you any of the real world skills. Survival, money management, relationship management. They don't teach you anything. What do they teach you? The simple basic fundamentals, and there you have teachers who are paid very less to manage children. They don't have any idea about life, business. They don't have any of the skills necessary to succeed in the real world apart from a school. So obviously they can't teach now. So that is why it doesn't matter to me what my child is studying, or I just want her to just understand the subject. No need to get the first rank. Just get basic marks, not just pass marks, above that. At least get, say, 50%. But if she has ambitions, like some of you have asked, if your daughter wants to be a doctor, engineer, scientist, then you have to show me number one. You have to be number one. Then I'm willing to spend that kind of money. You're not the best in the class. You don't have the highest marks. And you want to pursue doctor and scientist and engineering, and which involves excellence. I'm not going to spend my hard-earned money when you are just average, because then you'll end up being an average employee, man. Check how many engineers, civil or mechanical or electrical, they're earning peanuts. Check so many commerce students, what they're earning. Shit. Art students, average teachers. But if you show excellence, fine, then it's worth investing, right? So there's a method to the madness. So like I told you, there's nothing incredible that the schools can teach which will help my daughter in today's world. Nothing. The only skills that she will learn is outside the school with us. But that doesn't mean school is not important. Social skills, team building, getting to meet friends. I don't believe in homeschooling only. There should be school that has its place. Yes, the curriculum is outdated. Yes, the teachers don't have real world skills. But you have to be part of the process. You can't be, like me, a tattooed rebel and say, fuck society, no. You have to survive with society. Because remember, okay, today I'm alive. I can afford whatever lifestyle they want. But if I'm not there tomorrow, my wife has to go back to the roots, no? So I want her to be close to the roots, and from there show excellence. So, but I'm being honest, I want her to learn real world skills. Public speaking, marketing and selling yourself, running a business, managing money, negotiating with vendors, suppliers, selling to customers, ensuring, by the way, my daughter helps my wife when she's selling clothes, being a hustler. So all that is real education. Learning how to manage a boyfriend, an abusive relationship, politics, that is real education. Not this getting a rank and going to a VIP school and does what. So these are my thoughts with regards to my daughter and education. You can let me know what do you think. And the guy who sent the email, I know I've not attacked the Mallu school, or I've already done that. And I've told you, Indian system of education is absolutely pointless unless you're doing the creme de la creme. It's just too stressful, there's too much of importance mugging up and getting the highest marks. It's like a competition for memorization. And your value is ascertained by how much you can memorize, how much you can spit out, what you memorized. That's not the kind of education I want for my child. Anyway, hope this answers your question, and let me know your thoughts, guys, in the comments below. Good, bad, ugly. Love to hear your point of view. You guys take care. This is me signing off.